and I don't need you to read each one of them, but are you essentially an ambassador for the city?
Yes, sir.
Here, Governor. Jackson leading.
Sustained.
All right, why don't you describe what you do for the city in addition to checking parking meters, Lynn?
Yes, we do interact with many people from out of state, out of town, whatnot, wanting directions, where to eat, this kind of thing about the area in general. That's frequent, that happens a lot.
Have you, did you give the court an understanding of whether your day is before December an upbeat day? Has it been generally productive for you and satisfying?
Before December, yes.
Describe for the court the various types of parking meters that you have to take a look at. And I have some photographs that assist the court with that understanding. So what kinds of meters are there?
Well, there are actually four. We have one of one particular type, and that's a bus that sits on the top of City Hall, and that's a pay and display. There are 2-hour and 3-hour meters. The lots all have 10-hour meters, and they're noted with a blue band around it that says 10 on them. Then the yellow bands are the 2 hours, and those are all on street. And we have one lot now with 3-hour meters in it.
And when you talk about parking lots, are these multi-story?
No, one level, except we only have one garage, and it's only the bottom level that's available to the public.
Okay, so you've got, the city has parallel spaces, right?
Yes.
In terms of where are the meters located on the parallel type spaces?
At the, normally at the very front of the car. There are exceptions though on Ranger Street that are located more, almost midway, as far as when you parallel park your car, so it's a little different.
Okay, is it 1 meter per car?
1 meter per, in some instance, there are 2 hours, so 2-hour meters, 2 double meters, so that would be front end.
Okay, so sometimes there's a double meter,
Mhm.
and that takes care of both spaces?
Right,
So in other words, there's every other meter situation?
yes.
Okay. And how about the angled, what I call the angled meters,
That's-
ones that are diagonal?
Those are normally the 2-hour type.
Okay.
Cuts down on posts.
All right, and this photograph shows the double meter here taking place, or taking care of both sides of the meter?
That's right.
Okay. And the distance between the angled spaces is 10 feet, isn't it?
Right.
And so every 20 feet, there's a meter,
Right.
okay? And how about with regard to the perpendicular, that is perpendicular to a sidewalk or a street?
We have meters like that on Gilbo Ave, which is down by where the old bus station was. And those are also double meters, so it's just side to side.
Okay. And the space between each perpendicular parking spot is 8 feet?
Could be a little bit more. That picture you have on the bottom is the upper deck of the City Hall, so that's the pay and display.
Okay.
There's no meter there except for the one.
So fair to say that these meters are either anywhere from 10 to 20 feet apart, the parking meters themselves?
That sounds, yeah, that's right.
Your Honor, I would like to mark these 2 sets of photographs as full of exhibits.
Any objection?
So we've got it, John.
Oh, certainly, I thought that.
Unfortunately, the way this is set up, it's sort of hard to,
It is tough space in this courtroom. You can see that.
so not, we there, it's fine. No objection.
Minus 2 and 3 are fully serviced.
So then, as you go about, checking the meters, talking to merchants, talking to citizens, et cetera, how many other parking enforcement officers are out there on the street with you?
Now, one other.
One other? How many have there been through, from, say, December of this year?
December of this year, there's been 2 others.
Okay.
December of last year.
I'm sorry, December of last year, yes, which is the reference in the writ. So there are essentially three parking meter people,
Enforcement, yes.
enforcement people. What do you wear to do your job?
We have uniforms in the winter, of course, they're long pants, BBU type pants, because we have a lot to carry, turtlenecks, fleeces, over jackets, a uniform. In the summer, it's normally shorts, polo shirt, with insignias for the city on the shirts. And hats, other hats.
And these are these issued by the city?
Yes, they are, they're issued.
They're recognizable to everyone that you are a parking enforcement officer?
Yes.
Do you have any arrest powers or anything like that under the police
No.
powers?
No, no, no.
And the three of you, as parking enforcement officers, do you have a set location where you go in section A and somebody else is in D and somebody else is in C? How does it work? Describe
It
it.
really doesn't work that way because the city really isn't that big, so the area can be covered. And we try not to walk all over each other, but it happens. But normally, no, we don't have a designated area. At one point, we had a schedule where we would have someone that would do chalking for an afternoon, say, but we don't do that anymore.
So is it fair to say that you're on your own out there?
Yes,
And you don't go to one particular area, A Street, and then do B Street, and then
no,
do C
we
Street?
don't have a set routine. It's totally random.
That may come as a surprise to a lot of us. We always thought meter people were, 10 minutes after the meter was expired, that they would be back. Is that the case or not?
Yeah, like I said, I think there might be a bigger area that other cities, but I think considering the size of Keene and the area we're talking about per that map, that just wouldn't be practical. You'd be basically spending hours in one section unless you got called away to do something else, so.
So in other words, if Jane and you are working together, are you working in tandem? In other words, you're in one area, she's in another, or are you just sort of sporadic or?
It's not planned at all, it's just we cross paths, yes, that happens. But, no, we don't, she's not on the east side and I'm on the west side or north or south, there's nothing like that.
Once you go to a street though, as depicted on these photographs, once you go to a set of parking meters, what do you do then?
You complete the whole street. It's the same with the lots, we do all the lots too.
So while there's randomness in terms of where you're going throughout the city, once you get to a particular area, you do all those meters.
Correct.
Why?
Why? So you're covering the whole area, you're not missing anything. Some of them have streets that come off of, we might walk down one of those to check on something, but we always come out and finish it.
From your perspective, is there a fairness, once you hit one meter, or check one meter, to check them all, to make sure that, you know, whether they're expired or not?
Yeah, actually, yes, it is fair.
And is there, how about chalking? You do chalks on tires? How do you do that?
Yeah, we have, two-hour signed areas that I pointed out earlier on the sign, and, we'll go through and chalk an area. Again, we can't really walk all over each other in this case, and chalk the tires, and two hours, 10, 15 minutes later, we come back to check if the chalks are still there.
And how do you remember where to come back to?
Well, again, the city's not big, it's limited areas, and we note down the times that we completed the chalking.
You actually note it in a notebook that you carry?
Yes,
So if you chalk an area, or you take a look at an area, you will write down whatever particular street it is?
yes.
How about for lunch? Where do you take, before December of last year, where were you taking lunches?
I always leave my vehicle, park my vehicle on the upper deck of the Wells Garage, the city side parking, and I used to sit there. And just in my vehicle, summer, winter, fall, didn't matter.
And how about otherwise breaks?
We don't really have specified breaks like that. We don't have like a 15-minute in the morning and 15 in the afternoon, it's just a half an hour.
Okay. How about bathroom? How about bathroom breaks?
Oh yeah, you gotta do that.
And before December of 2012, I don't mean to get too uptight and personal, but
Yeah, I know,
where would you take bathroom breaks?
Usually using city facilities such as the city hall or the public library. In other words, I wouldn't, the station is at Marlborough Street, I wouldn't drive down there just to use the bathrooms.
Other than what you just described in terms of bathroom breaks and lunch, can you leave your area, essentially?
Yes.
Can you go home, can you,
I'm not understanding.
well, when I said area, I think it went through you. Can you leave, your workspace, your work area for personal reasons?
No, you mean like run home to, no,
Go shopping,
no.
take care of personal things?
No, our time is, at the end of each day, we run off a report that tracks our times. And then essentially it shows you where you've been and what time it was, so it's all right there.
So some of us work behind a desk, that's our workspace. Some of us work out in the field, in a job environment, that's their workspace. And your workspace is the downtown area, exhibit 1?
The pavement, yeah.
I'm gonna allow that.
Otherwise, as we said, you're expected to be in that area, doing your job.
Right, in the city of Keene, that's what our jurisdiction is, whether it be the meters downtown or their surrounding streets. Those are the areas that we occasionally do get called to go to. So it's not just walking Main Street.
Have you ever encountered somebody who's been disgruntled about a ticket that you might have given, or that Jane might have given, or that Alan might have given? You ever come across it?
Oh, yes.
You know, tell us how often that occurs.
I think I
On
mentioned it.
a monthly basis
On
or
a
a
monthly
weekly basis?
basis, quite honestly, maybe 2 or 3 times
2 or 3 times
a month.
a month? And if you can, describe what kind of a encounter that is.
A disagreement basically about why they're getting the ticket and, how we came up with it, how did we, do this, that type of thing.
Is it usually civil?
People do get angry, that's true, but I mean, for the most part, it's not anything beyond what any of us can. Talk to people and try to come to an understanding.
And can you direct those people to your supervisors
Yeah.
or the court?
Yes, if we can't, if the argument can't be solved, then I certainly do.
And, you know, generically, how often, I mean, how long does such an encounter, has such an encounter occurred?
Oh, probably 5 or 10 minutes.
And after that, it's
It's
dissipated?
either solved or they're gonna, yeah, you know, go and talk to my supervisor.
Now, what happened in December of last year with regard to the defendants, the 6 defendants in the courtroom? Generically, what happened?
What happened basically is that some of these individuals would start following us around, whether videotaping or not, talking to us on a regular basis initially, at least that was my experience. Trying to, basically, I kind of figured out was trying to just, you know, stop me from doing what I was doing. And it just continued, and continued on a daily basis. And it hasn't let up.
Have you experienced these people, these defendants, doing these things to you